And if you want custom Slash headphones so rare that Slash has the only other pair in the universe, follow us at AXS TV and tweet us right now, and that's it. You're entered. Plus, our two-part one-on-one with the rock legend himself is coming up.
It is going down on AXS Live. I'm honored to be here because we have a legend, not just in rock, but in music. I'm talking about Slash. How are you feeling, sir? You're good. Now, did you think back in the early 80s when you got your start that you'd be not just, still around and stuff, but as successful as ever? It's 2013, but last year, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Loudwire Guitarist of the Year, an album, second album and stuff. Did you know this was going to happen back when you started off?
No, I mean, I really had no expectations. I just was struggling to learn how to play guitar and start a band and, write songs and all that kind of stuff. And I always live basically in the moment, so I don't see too far into the future. And I can't say that I had any, sort of like goals as far as that is concerned. I just wanted to be in a situation to make a record one day.
Absolutely. Now, we all know about the groups that you've been in and stuff, too, but over the past few years, you've even branched out. Obviously, the first solo album had a lot of different guests out there. I've seen you perform, everywhere from Fergie, Super Bowls, to, Sunset Music Festivals and stuff. How have you evolved music-wise? Because you've done a lot of things people might not have expected you to kind of, do.
What do you mean? What did you say music-wise?
Yeah, how have you always, evolved? What's made you want to work with these different people? Because that's, you and Fergie, that's not a collaboration a lot of people would expect Slash to see.
That's a particular situation, because I heard Fergie sing one time, sing a Zeppelin song. And I was like, that girl has got some amazing rock chops. And so years later, when I was doing a record, I needed a female vocalist. And so I automatically thought of her. And so that's how that happened. But some of the other stuff that I do that's just sort of off the beaten path or something that you wouldn't expect me to do, it's really just because I like playing all the time. And I like playing in situations that you wouldn't necessarily find me, because it's sort of a challenge. And seeing if I can also infuse some certain kinds of music with a little bit of a rock style, because I think the two mesh together. And mostly just because I get bored easy.
You could tell. And it's kind of interesting, if you look at the two solo albums that you put out. In 2010, you had all these guest collaborators. This one had, it was more just you and Miles Kennedy. And the sound on it's not, if you kind of get drum with Slash rock, you think of all that stuff. You go all over the place with this album. Is that intentional?
I don't know if it's necessarily intentional. It's just, as a player, you want to be able to do different things. You hopefully have more than just one idea. And so you go for it. And with these guys, I've been able to, any idea that I come up with, we can at least give it a shot and see what happens, And that's basically, and Miles seems to be able to come up with the melody no matter what I write.
That's awesome. So did you go into your second album knowing that you wanted to do it with Miles and the rest of the crew, or did you just kind of start recording and that's the way it happened?
Well, when I did the first solo record, I had all the different singers, and at the very end of the making of the album, I had two songs that were left over, and I was trying to think of who would sound good on these two songs. And around that same time, I'd heard Miles was doing this thing with Led Zeppelin. And I'd heard about Miles, but I'd never heard him sing. And I thought, well, let's just take a shot in the dark. He's got to be good, And I didn't do any research. I didn't look up Alter Bridge at that time and so on. And so I called him up and said, I've got this piece of music, and I'm doing this record with all these different people. You want to just see what you come up with? And I sent it to him, and about a week later, he sent the song back with some vocals on it, and it was fucking great, Yeah. So I flew him out to L.A., we recorded the album version of the song, and then I asked him to do another one. So this is Starlight, and then we did Back from Cali. And I had to put together a band to go on tour to support the record. And so I just, I didn't expect a positive answer, but I gave it a shot, and I said, do you want to do this tour? And I knew he could handle all the diversity of all the material that the tour would encapsulate, from GNR and Velvet and Snake Pit and then this new record. So we went out there and I met Brent, and he introduced me to Todd, and we just put together this pickup band that just happened to be really good. And so we went out and toured, and I thought, fuck it, I was going to make another record. I'll just do it with these guys, and that's what we've been doing.
Why not? So what inspires you right now? What new artists or new music are you listening to? Anything?
Well, I went and saw Gojira the other night, who were intense, were really, really good. And I don't necessarily play that kind of music, but I love the sincerity and the heart behind it. You know, a lot of rock and roll right now is very diluted, and I don't really hear like real honest emotional, you know, statements being made or any kind of real emotion in the music. And so I start looking elsewhere. So, you know, thrash metal seems to be one of the longest, like it's been lasting all this time, and it's always been, you know, true to its school. But for the most part, I'm writing new material now, and I'm more inspired by the lack of stuff that's out there than the amount of stuff that there is new for me to listen to.
Now, you put out your last album independently. You hit #1 on the charts. How does it feel, you know, doing it on your own compared to having, you know, a big record label and stuff behind you? What do you prefer after being through both?
Well, you know, in the glory days of Geffen, it was great. But at this point in time, and the way that it seems the industry is going, if you're able to do it yourself, it's better, you know. And so fortunately, I'm in a position where I can do it myself, and I do use major labels to actually do the distribution and stuff. But you know, I'm more in control of what's going on, and I own all my masters. I don't have to negotiate anything. You know. So I much prefer this at this point.
Now, you're pretty active on Twitter, and I see that you actually made your own like little top hat symbol, right?
That took all of everybody asked me. It was just like, well, I need a signature, and I just, you know, just came up with that. It took like literally 2 seconds.
Now, I saw on your Twitter you said that you were going to a couple places you've never been before, right? With this tour, is there one place in the world that you haven't been that you want to go to?
As an artist, you know, professionally, it would be South Africa. I haven't been there, and we've been trying to get over there. So it looks like we're going to be going next year. So there's that. There's India, which we were going to go do. I think we're going to do later this year. Still have never played Alaska. You know? I mean, this, you know, if I sat and thought about it for a long time, I could come up with a handful of places I haven't been. But you know, with the Conspirators and stuff, we've managed to play a lot of different places that I'd never been before. Jakarta, we're going to Slovenia, we're going to Bulgaria for the first time. You know.
Now, what motivates you to keep going and keep doing this? Like, you obviously, I don't think need to put out albums, need to tour and stuff. Is it just, you know, the love of it?
Yeah, totally. It's just, I love writing stuff, I love making records, but ultimately I just love touring and playing, and you know, and so that's it. Just the same thing that drove me to pick up a guitar and start learning how to do it.
So what haven't you done in your career yet that you want to do? Is there anything that stands out?
No, I mean, I don't have any goals like that. It's really just sort of onward and upward, you know, just one step and, you know, after the other. Yeah. So you keep going in a forward motion and see where that takes you.
What about collaborations? Any dream collaborations you haven't, you know, you haven't got them on your album yet, you haven't worked with them yet? Anybody that you think would be really cool, even if it's something unexpected?
Well, everything's unexpected. Yeah. There's never a lot of forethought into collaborations. When I did the solo record, that was the first time I ever sat down and went, okay, I've got to call certain people. Normally, they just come out of hanging out in a pub or meeting somebody somewhere, you know, and you know, music being sort of the language, you know, you end up eventually going in and making recording a song or something. But if I was to, you know, I've always talked about working with Stevie Wonder, which is something he and I have discussed, but we've never done, you know. There's not really, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people that would be great to play with. I just don't want to be presumptuous and say that that's going to happen. You know?
Absolutely. Like, I saw that you actually, you know, put out your first movie and also did the soundtrack. It's coming out. You're working on it. I mean, how's it feel shifting from music to being now behind the lens?
It's actually been, it's a great experience because I love movies, and I'm working in the creative side as a producer. So I'm involved in every aspect of the creative, from script development to casting to special effects, everything. And it's great because I know I've always been a huge horror movie fan. This is a horror movie production company, so it was really sort of fascinating to get into it and I see that I actually have an aptitude for the details of it. But it's also been a huge exercise in learning how to be patient, because the movie business is a hell of a lot slower than the record business.
Yeah, exactly. You can always put out your own music and do whatever you want, kind of go to tour the world. But movies.
But it's good because it really teaches you how to you know, put time into details of things, which is something I'm not good at. You know, I'm like go.
Absolutely.
So that's been pretty healthy, and you know, so this movie's great. So I just want to get it out. So I'll be working on new material, and then in May we go out and do another tour in Asia, and then later on in the year when Alter Bridge is done, then we'll start up the Conspirators and pre-production.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, sitting us. I know you got to go. So Slash is in the building. It's going down AXS Live, AXS TV. I'm DJ Ski.
Slash and his awesome leather top hat. All right, did I mention that we have custom Slash headphones? Pretty sure I did. Follow us on Twitter at AXS TV and tweet us right now for a chance to win the headphones and a speaker system. There's literally only 2 Slash signature headphones ever made, and Slash has the other pair. So you'll be in a special club that's just you and Slash. It's kind of like these headphones are wedding rings, but for your head, and you can't marry anyone besides Slash, which sounds awesome. A winner is going to be picked tonight. Let's get down to business. It's time to announce who won those Slash signature monster headphones and speaker system. And the winner is... That's a long drum roll, so I'm just going to say it. Hollywood Rose! Congratulations! Allie, she tweeted at AXS TV, at AXS Live. Slash is what gives me inspiration every day, man. Getting those headphones would be too rad. Congratulations, Hollywood Rose. You and Slash are literally the only 2 people on the planet with these monster headphones and speakers, so rock on, it's pretty rad.